So this is a very important video, and the topic is actually about semen retention. So I don't know if you are into this already or not. So I'm not gonna go into the details. So there's a lot of information out there and a lot of YouTube videos, or you can ask ChatGPT about it. But why I'm here is that I wanna share something about my experience, something very important, that I think can dramatically help you on this journey. So, just shortly about me, I have been doing this now for kind of 5 years. So, of course, semen retention. So we need to draw a line here. What is semen retention? I mean, it means basically that you as a man, you don't, you don't, I mean, it doesn't mean that you don't indulge into sexual activities, but it does mean that you don't come to the point of releasing, essentially. And yeah, so some people still practice sex, but they don't, they try to not release. But what I'm doing is I don't do any of that, so I no sexual activities at all. Like, that hasn't been like that for the whole 5 years, but so of course at the beginning it was not that simple to control your urges and so on. So I'm also not perfect in that regard, but I have to say that in the last 1 year and 8 months, I kind of managed to not have any urges anymore. So I was not even close into going into the, let's say, wrong direction. But yeah, so I just wanna share something very important. So, but as I've said, if you are more at the beginning of your journey, like, it depends where you are in your journey. So if you're more at the beginning, you maybe should pay attention to other things, right? Because at the beginning it's just completely different. Like, at the beginning you struggle so much, maybe you're still at some websites you shouldn't be on, or you are looking at women too much, or you are like, your focus maybe all over the place, so this whole journey, what it basically helped me is to figure out who I am and what I want. And I think those two things are the most important things that you could ask yourself, because if you are always around other people, right? So there's this saying that that the 5 people that you spend your most time around, you kind of become like them, right? If your 5 friends all are rich, then it's likely that you also get rich. If they're all very confident, it's also likely that you get confident. If they're good at talking, you get good at talking. Like, in some way you have then this urge to catch up, If they're better at something, then you also want to be better at that. So naturally, in some directions you get better, but it also can be a negative thing, like they have some addictions or something, and then you also get those addictions. So it's like, it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. So it's wise to think about who you want to have in your circle and who you don't want to have in your circle. But yeah, generally it's just, if I would, so as I've said, very important, who are you and what do you want? And around that, you can then build your habits. You can try to remove old habits of yourself that you don't like, that you know aren't good for yourself. And some of those maybe are really hard to put to the side, but you know, it's a journey. You shouldn't be always that hard on yourself, but the important thing is that you make progress. And yeah, that's just the main thing, I think. So to figure out who you are, it's not such an easy thing, you know. Like maybe like 5 years ago, I was completely a different person, and who I was then and what I wanted then was completely different. And who I am now and what I want now is just another story. And I'm not saying now that semen retention is the answer, but I think it drives you just in the right direction, you know. It's just, I don't know if you're a spiritual person or not, but it kind of gets you into spirituality a bit, and into this deep thinking, and what's your purpose. Like, and I know there are a lot of other people that are talking about such things on the internet, so I don't wanna go into that now, because there's just so many other sources. So yeah, then a very important topic that I want to share, and it is about Nightfall. So if you have been in this journey for some time, you know that sometimes it happens in the night that you accidentally release, and this is something that can happen. And so a lot of people are saying this is completely natural and it should happen, but I would not be so sure of that. So it's like, you shouldn't judge yourself, or you shouldn't get into this negativity cycle, that you beat yourself up because it happened. You know, you're just very down. That shouldn't happen. Like, you should be, I mean, it's not ideal, okay, but the most important thing is that you rewind your day before, because there's probably something that you just, that there was just some mistakes that you did, that something you did wrong. It could be because of your awareness, because of what you did, what you ate, and it's maybe you looked at women too much, or you were worrying too much, you were overthinking too much, you were doing nothing the whole day, like you were not physically active. Like, I'm not saying you should every day you need to do 1 hour of exercise, physical activity. You don't have to do that. That's not what I'm saying. But I just had so many nightfalls over those 5 years, especially in the first. So at the beginning it was more, right? And I just saw this as a kind of feedback from the universe that just tells me what I need to do and what I shouldn't do. And yeah, this has helped me in restructuring my life in a way that it was basically simple to figure out now what's right for me and what isn't. And I also developed this inner awareness to always have this sense of how I'm feeling right now. You know, whatever you do, you feel just in your heart. You have this deep feeling if something is off, if something is right, if and it's also this like deep joy that I feel in my heart. Even there's nothing that needs to happen outside of myself that I'm feeling this, and this happens after such longer kind of streaks or longer amount of time where you don't release, or where you also don't have nightfalls. And like right now, for example, I didn't have a nightfall for over 35 days. And that didn't happen that often in my journey. It was around a time, it was very often that it was around every 10 or 20 days or something that it happened. So 35 days is kind of rare. But I have to say that the last few weeks I have been doing things a bit differently. So I think I don't know if you're doing any spiritual practices, if you're doing meditation, if you're doing yoga, if you're doing some practices to move your energy. Like, you have to figure it out for yourself, what's right and what's wrong, or what's ideal for you. But what I found is that for me, it's very important to have a nighttime routine. And it's basically that I have... So, okay, the thing is this, it depends when your bedtime is, okay? So if your bedtime is around 10 p.m., 11 p.m., I don't know, or even later, then this is a bit different. But my bedtime is usually right now around 9 p.m. I try to get it to 8 p.m. Let's see how I do with that. But yeah, I mean, it happens also that I'm asleep at 10 p.m. or a little later sometimes, but I try to avoid it. So yeah, I have a rule, and the rule says that after 7 p.m. I'm not worrying anymore. So if there's some problem, I don't know, in my apartment, or some person is not calling me back, or there's something at work, or there's just some things that we need to address. So we all have some small problems that we need to solve, right? And so if during the day we work, and then we get off from work, and then we have a bit of free time, then it could be that those problems come up, right? Because we need to solve them, and at some point we need to solve them, because they're not gonna resolve themselves. Or well, maybe some problems maybe resolve themselves, but not all of them. So in that moment, we have to figure out how to deal with that. And I have this rule that after 7 p.m. I'm not putting my awareness on such things. Because if I worry in the evening, it's just a risk, okay? It means that I'm not protecting my energy. It means that I'm leaking Jing. So this is this maybe I will make a whole another video about Jing. So I'm not even sure how you pronounce it. Is it Ying or Jing? But yeah, basically it's a different concept. But we're talking in general about life force, about life energy, and those things drain you from this energy. And so it's important to have as much of this energy that you possibly can, and then transmute it through some practices. Like, for example, what I do. So first I've said I'm trying to not worry. Maybe you still work on something or so, but try that it's a bit of a lighter work, so that you're not too engaged in your mind and it's like deep. Don't try to make too deep. That's my suggestion, or that's at least what I'm trying. And then I basically do some yoga. I have some kind of nighttime yoga session, yoga routine. And basically how I do this is that, I've been doing quite some yoga in my past, so it's not a sequence that you find on YouTube, but it's kind of let's say I put multiple sequences together. So there's just some exercises that felt like good for me, and then I just keep them in my routine. And yeah. So after I'm done with my yoga session, it's about, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I actually do some qigong practice, and this has been a game changer for me. Like, I don't know if you're like at the beginning of your journey, if it's that valuable for you. I'm not sure, because I did it a few years ago, but I was not really sticking to it. I didn't do it I maybe did it like 2 or 3 days in a row, but then I quit. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel it was good for me, so I didn't kept on doing it. I was focused more on like meditation or yoga. So, but then a few weeks ago I started it again, and it was truly amazing. So it's like the way it changes your energy at nighttime. It's like, when you go to sleep, you're just so centered, and I can't remember of anything else that made me so centered in such a short time, for real. And it just takes like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I'm actually doing some routine from how is this channel called? Sexual Kung Fu. He has some videos, so maybe you can check that out for yourself, where he does some qigong practice, and it's been really amazing. So you really feel it. But so maybe I'm feeling it more now because I'm kind of longer in this journey, I've yeah, I think I've stayed quite some time in this journey now. And yeah, so I would so the most important advice that I have is that you exactly, like, I can't tell you that what works for me also works for you. Like, I can't say that. Like, I know that other people that create videos, they say, yeah, you need to do that and you need to do that, and then this will happen. Yeah, it could be that this happens, but maybe you also need to be this person for that to be happening, because it's not just there's usually more than just those two reasons that you say, okay, if I do that and that, then this happens. Like, okay, this may work for this person, but maybe it's not just because they do that, but it also depends on other things, like how their mindset is, how their energy is aligned. Like, there's just more than that, but that doesn't mean that what someone else does, that you can't do it, right? You can do everything, you can do anything. maybe someone else has more talent in that. So we're back. I'm sorry, the video was cut off because of some software update. So yeah, I don't quite remember where we were. We were talking about, yeah, you can do anything. So the thing with that is, so if you have never done something before, right, then it in some way looks to your mind that this is impossible, right? Because you never did it. Maybe other people are doing it, but since you never did it, then it seems like you can't do it. This could be related to making money. This could be related to in talking to women. This could be anything, right? If you never did something so far, then it may look like impossible to the mind, but this is exactly where we need to escape, right? Because it's not true. It was true in the past, but that doesn't mean that it will also be true in the future. And this is very, very, very important if you want to make changes. Because all in all, we operate on our subconscious programs, and we need to identify them and figure out where they come from and how they have evolved and how our emotions work. And this is all part of this. This is all part of the whole journey, that you will figure these things out. And yeah, I hope you got something out from this video. I know there are a lot of people that are talking about this stuff, but I really feel like I have some things to say that I didn't quite find on the internet. That's why I'm also creating this video. I mean, I guess 80 to 90% was still something that is pretty common and that you hear a lot. But yeah, I hope I could give you some advice or some things that you maybe could include in your life, or some things that you could change. And yeah, then I hope you have a wonderful day, and yeah, see you in the next one.